Hello students, welcome to Lab A7 Series DC circuit. This is a circuit we're going to look at. We're going to continue doing our understanding of series circuits. We're going to build a circuit with 3 resistors in it, and we're going to measure the ohmic value, the resistance, and we're also going to measure the voltage drops and the current. Now I just wrote several different ways that you can draw a circuit. This is the circuit that is in your on page A, or on the Lab A7. It's a series circuit. I've turned it 90 degrees, so it may look a little bit different, but you have 3 resistors in series with a source, and that source is going to be, I think in this one, 6.5 volts. So we're going to set our supply for 6.5 volts. And also can draw this thing, and I can just write what the actual voltage is, the 6.5 volts there, and draw the resistors and show it energized. And then on this bottom circuit, show something very similar. And this just shows that we have a 6.5 source and we have a common ground at the end of the circuit. So you'll see these circuits drawn in several different ways. Just wanted to indicate that to you at this particular time. So let's analyze what we're doing today. We have got a circuit that we're going to have 3 resistors in it, and these 3 resistors we are going to look at first measuring ohms. Remember, we measure resistance by itself, and then once I apply my voltage, I have my power supply hooked up here, as you can tell. Now I'm measuring voltage drops. I'm measuring the voltage across each individual resistor independent of each other. I don't measure them all 3 at once. I measure them independent. So we're going to measure voltage across, and what I mean by that is that there is whatever is between the red and black lead on your meter is the voltage that you are reading. And then finally we're going to take a look at how to measure current, and current is always measured through. So as you've seen, I've disconnected one end of my power supply. I put the same color leads together, and then I've put the rest of the circuit between the 2 red leads. So this positive is the red lead from the power supply, and then over here is the red lead from the meter. And so this is forcing my electrons to go through my meter, and now I'm measuring current. So current is always inserted in series with the circuit. Voltage is measured across, and we see that resistance is measured alone. So let's take a look at the circuit. The circuit simply is, you can look at on the next pages, is that there is a wiring diagram as you look at your laboratory. And if you follow the instructions of the laboratory step by step, it will tell you how to measure the resistance in the top box there. The second is going to be how to measure total voltage and set your voltage up. And then we're going to measure the voltage of R1, and then R2, and then R3. And then we're finally going to measure current. So my actual circuit looks similar to this. As you can tell, is I have 3 resistors that are in series. At R1, as I've busted at the top of the circuit there, if you can take a look here, is that I have busted the circuit here to where R1 is connected to this bus line. This bus line goes to my power supply. And then over here you can see that the end of the circuit, R3, is busted to the blue bus line, and it comes all the way over here. So I've got my power supply set for 6.5. I'm going to attach it here after I measure resistance. So the first thing I would do is I'll bring my meter in here, and I'd measure total resistance across these leads right here. And then I would set my power supply. Once my power supply is set, I will apply the voltage that it indicates here, and I think in this case it's 6.5. Double check your instructions to make sure that is correct. And then finally I'm going to bring my meter over here. I have my meter set to DC voltage. So I've got that set up there. And so what I will do now is I will attach my meter leads across the resistors here. So here's R1. So what is between R1, what's between the red and black lead is R1, and now I'm reading the voltage across R1. So we have that set up. And then once I measure the voltage on R1, I would come to the next one, and I would read voltage across R2. And then once I have that recorded, I would go over here and I'd measure voltage across R3. So this goes by pretty quick as we go measure voltage across R1, R2, R3. And then once that is done, as I can finally measure current, so I set my meter up to read current. And the way I want to read current is I'm going to take, here's my meter leads. I disconnect the power supply at one end. This is for total current now. And what I will do is I will put my two negative leads together, as you see there. And my circuit's going to be between these two red leads. And now I'm measuring total current. So just make sure you read through the instructions of the laboratory, and it will tell you how to do everything. Just take a step-by-step view of that, and then you'll have information to fill out. And then there'll be some other data that you'll need to include in your laboratory. Check with your instructor if you have any more questions. Thank you.